The Shunammite woman. We call her the Shunammite woman because we don't know her name. It's interesting that time is given in the story to tell about exactly what was in Elisha's room, from a bed to a chair to a table to a lamp, but time wasn't given to mention her name. Reminds me of a story I heard by J.F. Oberlin. He was a famous German preacher back in the 1700s. He tells about a time when he was caught out in a snowstorm. And he was walking along, and the storm was so bad that he lost his bearings, and he wandered a bit and finally realized he did not know exactly which way to go at all. And so he just basically sat down. And he sat there, and suddenly a farmer on a wagon came by, saw him, and helped him up into the wagon and took him into the next village. The farmer made sure that he was settled and cared for in an inn, and was about to leave. And the famous preacher asked him, "Sir, please tell me your name. At least when I remember you, I can remember you by your name." The farmer turned and looked at him and thought a bit and said, "Well, before I do, tell me the name of the Good Samaritan." Pastor Oberlin said, I don't know the name of the Good Samaritan. The Scripture doesn't say. He said, "Well, let's just leave it then that I'll tell you my name when you can tell me the name of the Good Samaritan." With that, he laughed and turned and walked out. Well, in this case right here, we have another person in the Bible who we don't know the name. We do know that she was a powerful personality. She was wealthy. She was a respected person and a woman that was determined and loved her son. Interesting that in the last session we talked about the school of the prophets, and we talked about how Elisha was over the school of the prophets. Well, from figuring out when certain prophets lived and when they would be raised, there's two prophets that probably studied under Elisha. One was Amos and one was Jonah. Both of them would have could well have been under the leadership of Elisha. Tradition, and it's only tradition. We have nothing to go by. Tradition holds that Jonah was this son that was a son of the Shunammite woman. This story contains one of only 7 stories that are about a resurrection, not counting the resurrection of Christ, which was the master resurrection. But of the other 7 people that were raised from the dead, this story here contains one of 7. Well, come back next week when we continue on with more insights, story insights about the story of the week. We'll see you next week.